Hi, I'm Dom and welcome back to the Clown's Pocket. To get straight into it, what am I talking about and why would it be my number one plier-based pick if I were relatively new to EDC and multi-tools? This is the Roxon Flex S804 Modular plier-based multi-tool. Now I know its bigger brother, the Roxon Flex Titan, is just about to hit the market, but even so, the reason I would pick this for folks new to EDC is simple: room to grow. Bear with me and I'll show you what I mean. This multi-tool has the space for up to 10 separate implements. That's 5 in each handle depending on their thickness, and it will allow you to quickly swap those in and out, changing your loadout as and when you need to. Let's get those in. Snap it back into place and push back the retainer. The only limitation to that is in terms of tool length. The Flex Plier is only designed to take 2 long implements such as a blade or full length file, 1 in each handle. A good way to mitigate that limitation is to dedicate one of those long slots and the adjacent short slot to the Roxon Flex FTL2-1 T-shank adapter, which will allow you to use standard store-bought jigsaw blades and other peripherals designed for T-shanks. According to reports, the Flex Titan, due out for early access around February 4th or 5th, will be a larger tool that will essentially be an upgrade to the Roxon Phantom with a large incorporated set of shears, the Phantom's blade interchanger, and only 6 free choice tool slots. This means the original Flex Plier with its 10 slots will remain the more customizable multi-tool in a more carry-friendly package, although for specialists and tradesmen the Titan is definitely going to be worth a closer look. Now, I have had my Flex Plier since December 2024, so about 14 months now, which is pretty much as soon as they came out. You can see it's an early model with the locking mechanism showing a locked and unlocked padlock, as opposed to the better red and green indicators which came out on all more recent Flex multi-tools. So remembering back, it came with this fairly simple Roxon sheath which will clip onto a bell or molly webbing. This only has the single one compartment in it and no side sleeves or anything like that, which I think is a missed opportunity, as it would have been good to have somewhere to carry spare implements around. None of the implements I brought with it were installed. Instead, it was filled with these little grey spacer things, which makes sense so that buyers can sequence the tools exactly in the way that they want. And the implements all came in these individual boxes, and one of these gripper type things that you're meant to use when changing implements, especially sharp ones, so you don't hurt yourself. It also came with these spare wire cutters, which is nice, and this Torx key for changing them and for doing something else which is a little bit special that I'll explain later on. Onto the tool itself, it's built from stainless steel and comes with a corrosion resistant finish, and it comes with a built-in pocket clip as standard. It's definitely in the full-sized multi-tool category as opposed to compact or heavy duty, and has a butterfly shape reminiscent of the Victorinox Swiss Tool Spirit range. That helps with the ergonomics of the Flex Plier, and overall it feels very comfortable in the hand. In terms of size, the Roxon Flex Plier is about 6mm or just under 1/4 inch longer than the Leatherman Wave Plus at about 4.17 inches in length or 10.6 centimeters in metric. As for weight, the Flex Plier and the Leatherman Wave Plus are both around the 8.5 ounce mark, which is approximately 241 grams. Although for the Flex Plier, this is going to vary slightly based on what implements it's loaded with. So the plier spring is nice and strong, and the tips are well aligned and tapered for fine detail work. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the wire cutters are replaceable and they have a notch for thicker wire cutting. The locking mechanism stops the implements from deploying when closed, And the 3-position slider lets you deploy the tools when pushed upwards and remove and replace the implements when pushed towards the inside of the Flex Plier. Now I'm going to show you what the Torx key it came with is for. As you can see, the implements are deploying very easily and even flopping around a little bit. And when closed, the whole tool is also quite rattly. That's because I've deliberately loosened the screws that the implements clip onto with the Torx key. As you can see here, they are very loose. Loosening the tool up like this makes changing tools in and out easier. I've done that on the clip side of the Flex. On the other side of that bar, the heads are fixed in place. I'm now going to tighten both of these back up all the way so that you can see the difference that it makes. There, as you can see, I've tightened them all the way back up. Now when I try and deploy the implements, they are super stiff and really hard to get out. And the only rattle is from the deployment buttons moving around millimetrically. Therefore, not only can you tailor the loadout on your Flex multi-tool, you can also fine-tune the ease of deployment of the outside facing handle tools. Now let's have a look at a selection of the implements available. Now, some of these I bought individually and others came as part of standard discounted loadouts from the Flex Companion and the Flex Mini Companion. This is a small selection of what's available. Roxon has 55 separate implements, including specialized tools for bicycle spokes, firearm maintenance, and electricians' multi-gauge wire strippers. Here we have a few blades. This is a serrated blade. Here we have a large scalpel adapter, package opener, even a comb, parcel hook, various openers, and here we have, this is an interesting tool. This is a ruler and magnetic grabber. We have a marlin spike, a coarse and fine diamond file, and then here is the T-shank adapter, which we've already seen. This one occupies 2 slots, and let me just show you how this works here. You can open this up, put your standard T-shank in, and it comes with a couple of blanks to cut out any wiggle that may be there so that it fits nice and snugly. Let's put that back in. Right, so over here you also have a full hex bit driver. This takes up 4 slots, so you can put this and one smaller tool inside your inside one arm of the Roxon Flex Plier. Here you have another screwdriver which occupies 2 slots. This is a standard Phillips head, and you can use this in conjunction with this bit kit, and this becomes the basis for this adapter, and you can then put these 4mm bits in it. This is 2 slots again, and this holds a pen, a pair of tweezers, and a sewing needle. There we go. Here we have a pair of scissors. Roxon also do implement blanks so that you can create your own tools. They also have key blanks so that you can add a house key or the door key to your Flex tools. And now let's have a look at what I've got here in the Roxon Flex Plier. This isn't my usual loadout. You can have one-handed opening sheep's foot blade. This is made of a D2 steel. And let's have a look at the others that I have here.
So as well as that blade on here, I also have a small serrated blade. This is a number 3 scalpel holder. Then you have an awl. This implement is very good. This is a chisel and also wire stripper for 2 separate gauges. So let me show you the implements on this side. Here we have a pull cutter, a depth gauge which has a ruler on one side and a very good crosscut file on the other. Furthermore, we have a wood saw and a eagle's claw can and bottle opener tool. And then here we have a pair of scissors. Now the Roxon Flex scissors are very good. These are the short ones. Let me just show you how this deals with some materials. So here we have some paper, and very good, nice spring on that. And yeah, here we have some paracord. Let's see how it deals with that. And yeah, cuts at the bottom and cuts at the tip. So very good scissors on the Roxon Flex. Like I said, Roxon have got 55 separate implements on their website, so it's worth having a look on there and seeing if there is anything that you would add to your own loadout. Also, they're very receptive to receiving new suggestions, and they're regularly coming out with new items. All right, so let's have a look at some pricing.
So here I am on roxontool.com. I go to Multitools, and in top picks go straight to the Flex Modular. For sales within the US, the Flex Plier comes in at $88 with a fixed set of implements chosen by Roxon, or $40 for the frame only. The pre-installed option is obviously a nicely discounted choice, unless of course you don't need the majority of the implements that it comes with. Okay, let's have a look at some implement pricing now. Back from the home page, I go here to implement and implements for the Flex/Flex Companion. So there's a wide variety of implements here to choose from, and it's important to note that you get free delivery within the US for orders over $50. The prices range from $3 for this small tool blank all the way up to $14.50 for this mini pliers, which is most commonly used with the Companion. Most tools tend to come in at the $5, $6, $7 range. So you can select your plier in the pre-pack or not as you wish, add a few specific implements and get a fully customized multi-tool delivered to your door for free when spending over $50. Now that level of flexibility is great, but unfortunately it's only if you're living in the US. For those of us in Europe or elsewhere, we're limited to making our purchases through Amazon or AliExpress, where they sell the implements in bundles of 3 or 4. Unfortunately, these bundles are pre-packaged. Now for me, that doesn't sit well with the ethos of only buy and build what you need. Apparently the main reason for this is that selling pre-packaged bundles makes the logistics and transportation more cost efficient and therefore profitable for international distributors. Don't lose heart, however, as there are some good packages out there. It's just a question of keeping one eye on AliExpress and another eye on Amazon in your country.
Back to more cheerful matters though. What is it about this multi-tool that's so groundbreaking? And what is it that makes it so suitable to newcomers to EDC and also veteran practitioners who want to strip out some weight and irrelevance from their carry? Prior to 2024, when the GOAT multi-tool and then this came out, we hadn't really been thinking in terms of configurational flexibility or modularity in multi-tools beyond what we could get through having T-shank adapters on the Leatherman Surge and the use of 1/4-inch hex adapters. Before then, we chose our multi-tools by the tasks we needed them to do. So for example, somebody may well have picked a tool with 12 implements because it was the only model they could find that had all 8 of the implements they actually needed. Others, myself included, would choose a multi-tool that could perform as many functions as possible in as small a package as possible. This is a concept I like to call functional density. Now, density of a solid, for example, is how much it weighs in relation to the space that it occupies. Pounds per cubic foot, kilograms per metre cubed, etc. So, as an extreme example, lead has a higher density than mashed potato. When I say functional density, I mean the number of implements or use cases in relation to the space occupied. For example, this is my Victorinox Handyman, and this for me has a very high functional density because in this space, in this relatively little space, there are multiple functions and implements. So that's functional density. Now, in comparison, the Roxon Flex has a lot of free space and a lower functional density than my Handyman. But the tools that I have in here have been specifically selected by me, making it an invaluable resource which can evolve as my requirements change due to its configurational flexibility. That is why, in my opinion, this is the ideal first plier-based multi-tool for an EDC practitioner. And as I said before, it would allow older hands at the game to trim their carry down and lose some extraneous weight.
Many people, myself included, started their EDC journey with a knife-based multi-tool, commonly a Victorinox. So there's a good chance anyone ready for a plier tool already has a knife-based multi-tool in their possession. For relative beginners coming into this new world of wonder with a modular tool like the Flex avoids the very real danger of buying whole new multi-tools just because of a few shiny new implements. Now that's fine for dedicated collectors with the money for it and creators who are trying to make a living from it, but as we all know, it's a big old sweet shop to walk into for the first time and it's very easy to get overexcited. The Flex Plier has well-crafted quality implements and I keep it with my Handyman in my Viperade pouch. This sits on my desk at home and is ready for anything that I can't handle with my PowerPoint pocket carrier. It comes with me in my backpack if I'm ever going to be spending more than a night away from home or if I'm going somewhere where there's going to be odd jobs to do. My in-laws, for example, where in terms of tools, there's a drill, a couple of hammers and not much else. My Flex Plier has served me excellently in the 14 months that I've had it, and I keep it loaded with implements that I don't have in my Handyman. It's a good marriage of functional density and configurational flexibility, and thanks to the modular nature of the Roxon Flex Plier, my little pouch has room to grow and evolve. I'm going to have to call it a day there. I hope that I have justified sufficiently my assertion that this is the ideal choice for anyone looking for their first full-size plier-based multi-tool. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. In my next one, I will be following up on the success of my T-shank hack series for the SOG PowerPoint by showing how to tailor craft blades so they work directly with the SOG PowerPoint without the need for an adapter or modifying the tool itself. So I will be up at the old Vice and Dremel again. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day, evening, weekend, whatever. And I look forward to seeing you again at the Clown's Pocket.